McDonald's sells over 6 million burgers every single hour. It's one of the most famous food companies on the planet. But here's the secret almost nobody knows. The burgers are not how McDonald's actually makes its money. Not even close. The real business is hiding in plain sight, and once you see it, you'll never look at those golden arches the same way again. Let's start with a simple question. When you walk into a McDonald's, who actually owns it? You'd assume McDonald's, right? Wrong. Around 95% of all McDonald's restaurants are not owned by the company at all. They're owned by regular people, franchisees, who paid for the right to run that location. So the McDonald's Corporation barely flips any burgers itself, which raises the question, if they don't sell the burgers, how do they make billions? Here's where it gets interesting. When someone wants to open a McDonald's, they pay the company in three ways. First, a big upfront fee, around $45,000, just for the name. Second, a royalty, about 4% of everything that restaurant sells, forever. And third, this is the big one, they pay rent. Because McDonald's owns the land in the building the restaurant sits on. The franchisee, they're basically a tenant. And that, right there, is the real secret. McDonald's is not really a burger company, it's a real estate empire. Let me explain. Decades ago, a man named Harry Sonneborn, the company's first finance boss, said something that changed everything. He told investors, "We are not in the food business. We are in the real estate business. The only reason we sell hamburgers is because they are the greatest producer of revenue from which our tenants can pay us rent." Read that again. The burgers exist to pay the rent. Here's how the machine works. McDonald's finds a perfect corner, high traffic, easy to reach, lots of cars. They buy that land or lock it in on a long lease. They build the restaurant. Then they lease that location to a franchisee at a markup, a big one. And it gets even better for McDonald's. The rent is often tied to the restaurant's sales. So the harder the franchisee works, the more burgers they sell, the more rent McDonald's collects. The company wins either way. Now multiply that by tens of thousands of locations in over 100 countries. McDonald's owns or controls tens of billions of dollars of prime real estate around the world, making it, quietly, one of the largest property owners on earth. And here's the number that proves it. A huge share of the company's profit doesn't come from selling food at all. It comes from the rent and fees paid by its own franchisees. And opening one isn't cheap. A new franchisee often needs over $1 to $2 million just to get started. And even then, they don't own the most valuable part, the land underneath them. That stays with McDonald's forever. So think about what McDonald's really is. It's a landlord. A landlord whose tenants take all the risk. They hire the staff, they serve the customers, they eat the losses if a location fails, while McDonald's collects a steady, predictable stream of rent and royalties from above. Low risk, enormous reward. So then, what are the burgers for? Simple. The burgers are the marketing. Every ad, every Happy Meal, every "I'm loving it" exists to keep those restaurants busy. Because busy restaurants mean strong sales. Strong sales mean franchisees can pay their rent. And reliable rent makes every piece of McDonald's land more valuable. The food keeps the real estate machine running. So how did this all start? Back in the 1950s, McDonald's was a single, wildly efficient burger stand run by two brothers. A milkshake machine salesman named Ray Kroc saw it and saw the future. He convinced the brothers to let him franchise it. But in the early days, franchising burgers alone barely made any money. The company was nearly broke. It was Sonneborn's real estate idea that saved it. Start owning the land, become the landlord, and the profits will follow. They did. Kroc eventually bought the brothers out completely, and the rest is history. So here's the lesson, and it's a powerful one. The thing a company sells you is not always how it actually makes money. McDonald's looks like a burger company, It feels like a burger company, but underneath, it's a real estate giant wearing a clown costume. The burger is the show, the land is the business. And once you see this, you start noticing it everywhere. A cheap printer that costs almost nothing. They make the real money selling you ink for years. A game console sold at a loss because the profit is in the games. Same trick, different costume. The product gets you in the door, and something else quietly pays the bills. So next time you bite into a Big Mac, remember, you're not just buying lunch. You're helping pay the rent on one of the most valuable piles of real estate in the world. If you learned some,